What is the dumbest, most appallingly stupid thing anyone has ever said to you? I worked at a sandwich place and at the counter, I gave a customer his sandwich. That's it. Only one sandwich. No drinks or anything else. Wrapped in paper and put in a brown paper bag. He said, "Do you guys have trays?" I told him that I was sorry, but no. He said, "Well, how do I get this over to my table?" He was being completely serious. So I had to tell him, very sincerely, "You just have to pick it up and carry it over there." I'll bet he pays someone to wipe his butt too. A girl I know moved to Asia. She was impressed that they had new fancy toilets in the women's, ones that they can sort of ride. Turns out she had never seen a urinal and was in the men's toilets. She was in her 20s. People usually don't believe this when I tell them, but how could you make this up? Watching a 9/11 documentary with my ex and she said, "Wow, that pilot must have been drunk or something." Fanatical Muslims are well known for their love of alcohol. Me. Teacher. I actually have 2 daughters named Emma. One birth daughter who is 10, and just this year I became guardian of an Emma who now is 16 years old. 9th grader. Does Emma know she's adopted? Me. She was 15 when she came to live with us. 9th grader. Did you tell the 10-year-old her sister was adopted? Me. She was 9. She figured it out. 9th grader. Oh, I would have kept it a secret from them. This was yesterday. Once told a lady as she was getting out of her car that her tire was flat. She said, "Oh no, they aren't. These are brand new tires, but thanks." I still lay in bed and think about it sometimes. Saw a girl driving on her rim, so I pulled up and waved until she rolled down the window and told her tire was flat. She yelled, "No thanks," and when the light turned green she drove off. I think she thought I was trying to sell her tires. About 6 months ago, one of my employees said to me, "To get rich you don't even gotta do nothing. All you gotta do is invent something." I mean, look at Steve Jobs. He's still pretty young and that man is living the good life. I then had to inform said employee that Steve Jobs most certainly was not living the good life. Really, he's not living any sort of life. Why should the taxpayers have to pay for stuff like Social Security and Medicare? That's the government's job. Fassapuming intensifies. It's amazing the number of people who think the US government has some sort of source of income other than taxes. Like the fees for passports and such brings in trillions of dollars every year. College class. It was Political Science 101, I think. I am a Finn, though I went to the college in the US. First class, and we have this brief introduction, where we are from and so on. Me. Yeah, I am from Finland. Guy next to me. Half Finland. Do you guys have like electricity there? He wasn't joking. Just not the sharpest tool in the shed. That a laser-armed satellite caused 9/11. I read a title of an article that proves this, dude. AP Calculus BC. We were discussing integrals or something. Why is the 8 sideways? I don't know how she got through the first year of calc, let alone decided to come back for more. If she didn't recognize the infinity symbol, I think there's a clear limit on her mathematical ability. When I was younger, we'd routinely drive from Philly out to Ohio to visit relatives. On one such trip, we were somewhere near the Ohio-PA border when my mom tried to start getting one of those handheld TVs to work. Why can't I get channel 6 on this? Me. Because we're nowhere near Philly. I bought the TV in Philly, so it should have Philly channels, shouldn't it? Me. Having grown up in the vinyl age, my mom asked me to flip my first CD to side 2 sometime in 1992 or thereabouts. Back when I was in 3rd grade or something, I saw a kid messing with her electric outlet. Me. Hey, are you trying to get yourself electrocuted, kid? No, I'm polishing the socket. Then the lights will be brighter. Me. I cannot argue with such logic. Me. Hello, caller. Is John there? Me. No, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. Caller. Oh, do you have John's number? John Cena. I'm from Ireland, and when I was 11 I was at my friend's house in the States. This was one of my most prominent initial impressions of Americans, by the way. His mom, full-grown woman who has raised 2 children, asked me if I preferred Ireland to the States. I said I liked Thailand better and she told me that she was actually planning a vacation to Europe. Little 11-year-old me asks where in Europe. Her response, Asia. I stood there trying to think of the most polite way to explain this to a middle-aged woman, then gave up and went to play with Pokemon cards. To this day I still have no idea where her vacation ended up taking her. The secretary at my office knows very little about computers, but still acts like she does. One day when the boss asked her to find an email from earlier in the week, she searched, but couldn't find it. Her reasoning, oh, the company that sent the email, must have deleted it. I had a co-worker swear that gravity was faked by every scientist in the world, and I quote, "It is the weight of the Lord that keeps us bound." When I asked about NASA and satellites, he said they didn't exist. What an idiot. Everyone knows it's the sheer hatred of the moon for all living things that binds us to this earth. Pulled into a gas station. There was only one pump available, so I pulled up, and there was a lady filling up her SUV in front of me. Our cars were facing each other. I get out and put my card in while she is finishing up. She then gets in her car, rolls down her window and says something to me. I couldn't hear what she said, so I ask her to say it again. Couldn't hear it again, so this time I walk up to her car and she says, "You do realize I have to wait for you to finish so I can pull out now, right?" I just kind of gave her this confused look and looked behind her. No cars waiting behind her or anything, and said, "You know, you can just back up." She just gave me an annoyed look and said, "Groot," then closes her window and backs up and drives away. I met up with an old school acquaintance and we caught up. It would be important to note he's quite the entrepreneurial type, and at the time he'd never driven a car before. I offered him a lift home, but I had kind of forgotten where he lives, so I was asking for directions. He lives in the countryside up a very steep hill with many twists and turns. We got a little distracted talking nonsense that I drove a couple of meters past a turn I needed to take, and he said, "Oh crap, sorry, it's back there, sorry man." Taken aback by his profuse apologizing, I said, "Hey, no need to say sorry, it's no big deal," as I reversed the car back a few meters. He replied, "Yeah, I know, but petrol costs money." In a joking kind of way I blurted out, "Yeah, don't worry, when I reverse I get it back." I expected him to laugh, but he didn't. His face was one of shock. He then said, "Oh my god, I have an idea." I had to stop him before he actually said what he was going to say. 30-something-year-old told me she had never heard of Star Wars. I joked, "What are you, a communist?" She looked me dead in the face, 100% serious, and said, "I don't know what that is, either." She should get together with the guy in Tifu who pretended to not know what potatoes were. A sorority recruitment. Sorority girl: "Did any other people from your high school come to this college?" Me: "Yeah, a few." Names: 5 obviously boy names. Sorority girl: "Oh, was it an all-boys school?" "Yes. I, a girl, went to an all-boys school and am now in sorority recruitment, obviously." Back in 2003, after Canadian Prime Minister refused to join America to go to war in Iraq, I had a co-worker who was convinced Bush would simply call Chrétien on the phone and order him to go. Like Chrétien did not have the right to say no. I tried to explain Bush actually doesn't have the power to do that, and they said, "He's the leader of the free world. You do what he fricking tells you to." Nope. You're perfectly within your rights to tell him to frick right the heck off. Anyways, after it became obvious Canada wasn't going, they were convinced America was going to nuke Canada for disobeying Bush. Like, they literally sat as far away from me as they could in the cafeteria because they didn't want bits of you blown up all over me when America comes to damn your sorry butt into heck. I don't think that kid knows what freedom means. I work at a bank and I was helping a customer. She asked me what my name was. I told her and she said, "Girl, you got yourself a black name. That's our name. You best change that before you get beat." I used to work at Walt Disney World and had friends who worked at the Animal Kingdom Lodge that were African. They said on more than one occasion guests had asked them if it was a hard adjustment having to wear clothes every day. I can think of 2. Random: "You are wearing that on the wrong wrist." Me: "Huh, random, your watch, it is on the wrong wrist. It is supposed to be on the left." Me: "Do you know why most people put it on their left wrist?" Ah, yes, so you can check the watch while you are writing." Me: So, if I have it on my right wrist that must mean, you have it on the wrong wrist. The other one involved some 1%er telling me I must be an idiot for being a firefighter EMT, you should have went to school and became a doctor. Like being a doctor is just something everyone can do. Heck, it's not like being a firefighter or an EMT is something just anyone can do either. My uncle trained for a really long time to get the chance to become one. Frick that guy, be proud of what you do. This happened last night. My wife was arguing with me that you can suffocate in a car if the windows are rolled up after a long enough amount of time. It came up when there was a dog in the car park next to us with all the windows up. She said they don't have any windows down, to which I replied that it was 8 PM and 60 degrees out. The dog won't overheat. To which she said yeah, but he can suffocate. She freaking called her friend to try and get confirmation that she was right. I am raising children with this woman. You've put a ring on it. Now you might want to put a safety helmet on it. When I was doing my undergraduate degree, I was telling a friend that I was taking a class in quantum mechanics. Oh cool. That is where you learn about ghosts and other paranormal stuff, right? She was majoring in financial mathematics. A friend of mine was stationed in Iraq during the height of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Someone asked his wife if she was glad to have him out of the house. No, he's in a war zone. As I am picking them in their classic car up off the side of a deserted stretch of freeway at 0330 in the pouring rain, girls can't drive tow trucks. I demand you get a man driver out here. Bye bye, you have fun getting another company out here, because mine will not be able to provide you the level of service you require tonight, since I am the lead driver and unwilling to subject my sleeping co-workers to your level of a shattery. Did I mention I am the classic car specialist? Or that AAA will not be pleased that they have to call someone from out of the service area to help you. I've posted this before, but I was on a first date with this girl at our university art museum. The collection was pretty great. Van Gogh, Monet, etc. I was impressed. This girl looks at her painting and says, and I quote, "I don't know why you would waste time doing art when you could be doing something useful, like getting skinny." There was no second date. Clearly, she never heard the term starving artist. You could do both. World War I? That was the one with Vietnam, right? I've been in recovery from drugs and alcohol for almost 3 years. I'm straight up about it whenever someone insists that I smoke weed with them or have a drink, but sometimes I will get crap like, "You can't be an alcoholic. You don't even drink." Frick out of my face. You don't know me. So I worked as an assistant for a psychologist. He had this intern that was dumb as a box of rocks. One day, this family comes in with their young teenage daughter who is clearly very autistic. I mean level 3 walking around the waiting room chirping and meeping autistic. For those who aren't aware, autism is pretty much genetic, and while you can try to help them adapt, you can't discipline autism away. So my boss finishes his evaluation and they leave, and stupid intern turns to me and says if her parents had just raised her right she'd be doing so much better. I wanted to slap her. Driving a friend and his friends home from the bar one night, and one of them, Kyle, tells me he likes my car, SVT Cobra. He asks me, "Have you ever had it in 6th gear?" Knowing Kyle isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, I assumed correctly that he did not understand how a manual gearbox is operated. Kyle thinks you have to rev to the top of each gear in order to shift to the next. So I turned to him and said every freaking day. He was flabbergasted by my badassery. Obligatory not me, but this was so hilarious I wanted to share. A friend of mine was flirting with this girl at a bar. He told her he was half Filipino. She responded with, "Oh, where's Filipino? I am half Ireland." A friend accused me of wallowing in loneliness when I was not online to talk to her in the weeks following my father's death. I cut her off completely after that. Reminds me of the time my friend got mad at me because I didn't tell her I was in the hospital. I had just gotten hit by a car and was so drugged up that all I could do was half but a Facebook status to let people know I was okay. I haven't talked to her since. Me. I haven't been in a hospital since I was 16, when I got hit by a car. Intern. Oh my god. Did you die? Me. Yes, I did. till ghosts browse Reddit. I'm an electrician. Don't worry, I'm told that wire isn't live, unless I can see both ends of a wire. As far as I'm concerned, it's live. There is no task that's more important to me than keeping my heart beating. If humans supposedly evolved from monkeys, how come I don't see any monkeys evolving into humans today? The look of smug satisfaction on this kid's face when he said it was the most hilarious part. He really thought he had proven evolution false with this statement. I don't try to reason with anyone asking this question anymore. They just don't understand the concept. Or rather, they don't want to understand the concept. I've explained it too many times to too many of the same people for me to realize this. My parents told a friend that they were going to India in March. The lady then asked them if they were going in our March or their March. I spilled my coffee and asked my friend to help clean it up. Her response was, "I can't touch it. I'm lactose intolerant." Yes, the coffee had creamer in it, but holy crap, that's some next level stupid. A creationist once told me she doesn't believe in carbon dating that indicates the earth is much older than 6,000 years. I told her the science behind nuclear power plants is the same as carbon dating, and she replied that she doesn't believe in nuclear power either. How do you argue with that kind of stupid? This is actually true. Vermont gets 72% of its power not from nuclear power, but from folks whining about the fictitious dangers of the fictitious reactors, and also from ghosts. A family member and I were talking about the movie Gravity, and she said I always wanted to go into one of those no gravity rooms they film that stuff in. I thought she was talking about how you can be weightless on a plane. No, I mean those rooms where they turn gravity off and you can float around. Totally serious. In her 50s. Tried telling her that doesn't exist, and she started getting defensive. They're real, it's how they film this stuff. Frick, I'm late to the thread, but I was playing the card game Kings with a few friends. I picked up a card where I had to pick a category, and then in a circle, each player says something from that category until someone takes too long to answer or they freak up or something. To start the game off simple, I said states in the United States. My friend Brianna pauses for a minute looking a little confused, completely sober, and says, "Wait, hold on, is the United States the world?" Everyone just looked at her completely dumbfounded. Mind you, she was 18 and lived in Massachusetts her entire life. A blonde girl in my high school was known for saying stupid crap. Two instances come to mind. The first was her swearing that her iPod got heavier when she added more songs to it, and second was her saying aloud in class that there were 52 states in the US. When the teacher asked what 51 and 52 were, she responded with Alaska and Hawaii. The thing about there being 52 states in the USA is a really common misconception in Sweden for some reason. Take your government hands off my social security. I had only been working in the SSA office for a week and I nearly lost it. At work, during a conversation about space, a woman in her 30s asked me, "Where do you think the light that's reflecting off the stars comes from?" I thought she was being a smartass until I noticed her expression was dead serious, and stammered out that the stars were the same thing as our sun, but she wasn't buying it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.